Jessica, how long have you been with Jaylar?
I have been, it's almost a year and a half, so not too long. My longest stint was with Adelaide Vineyards and Winery, so
Okay.
I was there for I think 12 years in total.
Well, I should have met you then. So.
I'm sure we must have crossed paths at some point.
Some industry event, probably.
Yeah. I know, yeah. For one, pre-COVID, obviously we could do that, but then for me, pre-children, I also was able to do that more. And
that does get in the way too, but it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. So what other than virtual events? You guys have any other things on the horizon to get us to the end of the year? Any
end of the year? That's like almost here. I mean, we're really trying to push this corporate virtual platform now, and last hurrah for holiday gift packs. But
yeah, and we're along those lines. We're doing we do a boatload of corporate virtual tastings, but we also you kind of doing the last minute. Hey, did you like us? Did you forget about ordering gift wines before everybody shut downs? And a lot of people think we're shut, but we do still have a retail presence possible, and curbside pickups, which we were very skilled at. We did that for 3+ months. So yeah, those are the things we're working on.
So Jessica, how come you guys didn't open the tasting room again in Paso?
At one point we were planning at one point to open Paso in the summer and really have San Jose focus on our virtual platform, because we also have a tasting room in San Jose. And then I feel like it just comes down to everybody doing their own risk analysis. And for us, our business is stable with wholesale, and we have such a presence there. So it really just wasn't for us worth the risk of exposure for our employees opening the tasting rooms, and we're remodeling. so it doesn't make for,
good time for that.
Much usable space.
Right on. So we're live on Facebook. They had a whole new how to launch on Facebook this time.
Oh, wow.
You see what happens? You take a week off and all of a sudden Facebook changes everything on you.
I know.
You have to type a bunch of stuff.
Hard to keep up with things these days.
So it looks like we have many people on with us. Already have greetings and welcome back. Thank you, David. And Steve and Martha Hewitt over in Columbus, Ohio, saying that sunny and mid-50s today. Awesome.
Nice.
Looks like they've opened Carl's 17 Simpatico. So it's like they're
very cool.
Enjoying one of your wines already.
That's good.
We've got a few more people.
I'll enjoy with you guys. Cheers.
I know this gives us all an excuse to, at least on the West Coast, I guess, start sipping on wine early.
3 o'clock is fine.
I know, it sounds like a good time.
We might have tried
when we need that,
I love these little guys.
I do. I love the little box, the little bottles.
Yeah.
And it's a good trainer for the 1 ounce pour.
Is that what it is? Is it a 1 ounce in there? Okay. I just need to make sure we're actually live on Facebook. Sorry, hang on. Whew.
Did you say 1 ounce? Those are 1 ounce, Angela, or 2 ounce bottles?
1 ounce bottles.
1 ounce. Perfect.
Yeah,
so you can figure out where the line
true
is.
Taste.
And it's a 4-pack kit?
We do a 6-pack kit.
6. Okay, nice.
Everything that's on our tasting sheet currently. So we have been,
that's a good way to do it.
switching up the boxes so people can come back and enjoy it again. And then we have creative ideas for how to use the vials again, since we don't use them again for wine.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a great idea.
Good crafts for the kids. So
cool. All right. Looks like we've got plenty of people on board now watching, and that connection with Facebook actually did go. So I was sweating it there. I had a little notice pop up, and so I thought it wasn't going through. So we're going. Welcome everybody back. I know we took a couple weeks off for Thanksgiving, and then we had a little bit of a scheduling snafu for last week. but we appreciate your patience in rejoining us. I got a lot of emails as to, are you guys on or not? And I really appreciated everybody reaching out. And so we are, and we're back. We have an interesting show today. We had a whole different topic actually for today, but on Monday, with the new announcement of some shutdowns here, with tasting rooms and restaurants and the like, I thought, hey, let's talk about virtual kits again, because that's what we're actually right now promoting at on PassoWine.com, is trying to help all of our wineries broadcast out what they're doing on that virtual platform. So today I've invited 3 brands who have all kind of been dabbling in the whole virtual thing since really the beginning. All of them have been doing it, but they all have a few different perspectives. And so we're going to get into those. Let's introduce everybody though. First, I'd like to start with Carl, because actually on my left, as I'm looking at the screen. Carl, say hello and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everybody. Carl Bowker. I'm the owner and winemaker at Caliza Winery. We've been producing wines now for 15 years here in Paso Robles, and been selling wine for 13 years.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl. And let's go to Angela Mitchell with Mitchella.
Hi, I'm Angela, and I'm with Mitchella Vineyards and Winery. We've been doing since 1997, and our first commercial production in terms of wine was 2002. And I'm the blend master. My husband's the winemaker, so but it doesn't go in the bottle without my approval.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I know we'll get into more of your background too as we keep going. And then Jessica Kollhoff with Jaylar Vineyards and Wines. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I'm Jessica with Jaylar Vineyards and Wines, and I've been with the company for about 1.5 years in the local Paso Robles wine industry for 17 years. So Jaylar, we have a long history. Jerry started planting in Monterey County in the 70s and then moved south to Paso Robles in the 80s. And we have 2 tasting rooms. We have one in San Jose, which opened in 1974, 1975. And then our Paso Robles Wine Center, the tasting room doors opened in 2001. So we actually have our 20th anniversary here coming up soon for Paso, and we're in the midst of a remodel at our Paso Robles Wine Center. So we get to unveil that in 2021 for the 20th anniversary, which is awesome. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So again, with the recent shutdowns, I wanted to highlight what some brands in our area, and this is just 3 of the so many that are doing something that is virtual, because they're trying to still connect with all of you, of course, but also sell some wine, right? It's definitely a hindrance to small business when you can't actually welcome people into your tasting room, taste them through wines, and hopefully have them purchase some of your wines to take home. Because this is a really interesting business. It's an interesting business model in that you actually get to taste it before you buy it, right? It's not like that's not how you buy mayonnaise or rhubarb or anything, right? This is a very unique business model that's really imperative for basically our survival in a sense. But then when you can do some of these things where you're sending wine away and people are opening it up and they're on camera, I mean, it's a whole new world out there. And that's what we have going on all over Paso and today for that matter. I want to start with Angela. Angela, you, this little tasting kit, thank you so much for sharing it with me. I really do appreciate that. But you've got this little tasting kit here, as well as what's really neat, a cheese pairing. And I don't know if that
Awesome.
translates well on camera, but then it's labeled out on the plate. You've got your tasting sheet that follows basically, it's like you're basically getting the experience of your tasting room at home, right?
Absolutely. So I came up with the idea. So we were very fortunate in March. I think for a lot of us, it was our club shipment time. So that was enough for us to keep our employees busy. And my main goal was, how am I going to keep my employees busy so I don't have to lay anybody off, so that everybody still has an income? Because that was really important. And I don't know why I thought early on it was going to last longer than they said it was going to last, but it kind of had that instinct. And I literally, I know this sounds so corny, had a dream. I'm like, oh, tasting to go kits. And so last Christmas, we sent out our wine club appreciation gifts in this little box. And I'm like, well, what if I can find something in this box and then we can send it out to people and people can pick it up and we can create a tasting to go kit. And so in the box, we thought it's actually 1 ounce pours. Each one is 1 ounce. And we do what is on the tasting sheet currently right now. And yes, and we share them. And then also in the box included is a little saying, and everybody gets a little different saying. So this one happens to say, who says you can't wear sweatpants while wine tasting? All wine your best with your couch and or Netflix. Okay, and so and every box is a little bit different. So then every time you do it, you get a different thing. And then each one has like a little fortune in it. So, and then a discount coupon if you purchase the bottles. So, and then we work really hard at Mitchella. We've been doing it for about 3 years now with our cheese pairing. And so we've gotten really good at combining our wines with cheese. One of our philosophies is that it's great to give everybody a little bite. And so, I mean, it's not an expensive cheese pairing. And this plate is for 2 people and they get to share. But it's important just to have a little nibble with that. And so this time we have the innuendo that goes with the honey chef. And we're trying to focus our cheeses too around the holidays. So the next one is with the Viognier, and it goes with the mango ginger Stilton. So they're holiday related cheeses. And the kit gives everybody the opportunity to experience at home. And we have a ton of pictures on our Facebook page of people that have, you know, different ways that they've experienced. They've taken it to the park, they've taken it to the beach, they've taken it, and we've done large amounts, and I don't want to say that because people aren't supposed to be gathering in large groups, but we've had more than like 20 and then take them and then do them, and then everybody gets, and then they have them, they lay them out, and they get to have their own party.
And Angela, this is Jessica. How often do you change that kit or your tasting room list?
We change our tasting room list about every 45 to 60 days with our cheese.
Okay.
So it's always something fresh. Because we are so small, we have a lot of local wine club members. And so we try and keep it fresh for them to visit us. So like about every 45 to 60 days so that they can come in and visit us again and try something different. And it's worked out perfectly. Our only dilemma, I mean, and it's the little 1 ounce pours, and you can't ship it right now because according to the ABC, you have to be able to seal it so that it needs to be like a metal cap. So when they open it, you can't.
Oh.
So I've been working with the ABC and trying to figure out a way that we could do it, but so far no luck on that part of it.
So it's curbside pickup only right now?
And we've been delivering in Paso too. So,
Okay.
and that works out too. And it just anything to keep the employees busy and running around.
Yeah. But you can still ship your wines though.
I actually ship the wines. And then what happens too, is I've had people do the kit and then they've purchased the 6 individual bottles of the wine too. And then they actually have a little larger tasting. So, and had a gal over in Bakersfield and she took the kits to the people that didn't. We still have people that didn't want to go participate in the tasting. And we do still have people that don't want to do indoor tasting, even when we are allowed to do indoor tasting. And so it's a more convenient way for them to share amongst themselves and feel safe, especially people that if they're a little more immune compromised and they don't want to have that in the tasting room experience, even though everything's outdoors and seated, separated. But
Yeah.
Well, it looks beautiful.
It's well put together. It really is.
it was fun doing it. So.
How do you know how much time it takes to make one kit roughly for your team?
So we pre-package the boxes with the glass and without the labels because we're changing, and we do the different, the tops and stuff, and then so we do that ahead of time. And so then we ask people to give us a little bit, like 30-minute notice. So it only takes probably roughly about 2 minutes to fill one kit.
That's good.
Well, that was Jessica. Sorry, Angela. That was probably good when the tasting room is open, but now that you don't have open bottles of wine, that you probably want to fill a few of those. Is that correct? Or
so yes, and right now Yeah, because we opened like all of the wine
I
today.
mean, you'd hate to crack open a full bottle of wine to
I
fill
know.
a 1 ounce pour, and then you've got 24 more ounces or 23 more ounces of wine open.
And we have used the wine, I can't buy it.
The Corvin, yeah.
That is really not cost effective either. Even though we have the larger one with argon, it's still not cost effective to do that on these pours. And we have done that in the past. But we'll do enough of them this weekend and today, actually between today and tomorrow, so that we won't have to worry about that. We'll actually go through probably all of them.
Well, I actually give you a lot of credit for that willingness to fill them on the fly, and they're coming up your driveway and you're filling them, so that's pretty cool. We've been doing tasting kits like that for since March, and we do virtual presentations through Zoom and other platforms. We've been doing a lot of corporate ones, but we actually pre-fill them in advance, and then seal them. Because just give you an example, this last week we did over 300 of our kits. So it takes a long time. We had to plan ahead. We had to plan several days ahead. So I was just curious how you were doing it, because you've been doing, you are one of the pioneers in doing it. You've been doing it a long time. So.
Absolutely.
We ran experiments with how long it would take. I mean, how long the wine would last. And in the summertime when we were doing it, so they didn't last very long at all. So we suggest that people consume it within 48 hours. So, but it can last as long as 5 days or 6 days. But then I don't want to represent our wine poorly either. So we need to really do a scientific trial on that.
Well, kudos to you for getting that launched way back when, and showing the rest of us how to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Angela, you mentioned, is this also being a way to keep your staff busy and employed? Is that still going well? And
that's going really well. And
good.
We haven't had to lay anybody off, and it's nice not having to lay people off, really. And then I have really great staff, so they're willing to do just about anything.
Well, it seems like your kit would make a great holiday gift also. So hopefully people will come give you their 30-minute notice and come buy a lot of holiday wine kits.
I'll even do it without the 30 minute
Angela, Angela, we also clearly want to keep our staff busy, but we also found this as and really this was the impetus for us to do it. There's a reason we put the kits together. Was when they shut us down back in March, we really felt like we're a winery that loves to provide experiences and provide connection with our customers, both new and people that have been with us a long time. And this was a way where we could stay connected with them, that they could still taste the wines. And the fact that we're doing virtual tastings, that they're one-on-one with one of our staff members, and it's really been awesome. And even when we had the opportunity to reopen the tasting room, albeit with outside tasting, this idea that we could connect with somebody in New York or Florida or the like that may not be able to come see us, or may not come see us but every couple of years, but we could do a virtual event with them anytime. These little packaged little bottles are great for that.
Hey, Carl, while you're talking and we're kind of moving on a little bit, we'll come back around to Angela to talk about the wines here in just a few, but talk about those. So you started the kits, but now you've taken it a step further by doing kind of almost this winemaker at home thing. Yeah,
so we're always looking for, as I said, we love experiences. We both when we're open and people can come visit us in the winery and the tasting room. But we were looking for another way to connect with people virtually, since we feel pretty comfortable with a virtual platform. And so, the team, we all sat down and we thought, well, what's the next step? And this idea of, being a winemaker for a day, even though that would be our customers will be doing it at their homes or their corporate offices or wherever. What else could we bring to them? And so we thought, Chris, with the PRWCA, I've done blending seminars at BlendFest and other things like that. We just let's take that to the people. And so we came up with this idea that we're launching, where we send samples of bulk wine or wine that is not yet blended And then through Zoom or other similar platforms, we can meet with them. We set up our program for it's a 90-minute or more if it goes longer, where the participants, we send them sample wines, as you can see in that photograph right there. We send them 3 unblended wines. In this case, it's a Grenache, Mourvedre, or a Syrah, and then an empty bottle that will be ultimately they'll be able to make their own blend and bottle it up for themselves. We send a little beaker and a little pipette, just like like winemakers do. We measure things out in small quantities and do trials, and so we're going to do that with them. But it's just exciting to us to have another opportunity to connect with our either existing customers or people that maybe we'll just reach more people this way too. And so that's what we're doing. And also with the kit here is you can see in the photograph, we're actually including a previously bottled one of our finished wines that is made of the varieties that are in the blending kit, so that they can taste what our impression of these wines is a blend together. So we're just launching it this month. We're just taking our virtual tasting experience to one step more. We'll continue with the virtual tastings. It's been very successful for us, but this is just a new way. And I appreciate you having me on to talk about it, because we're really excited about it.
And Carl, it's probably, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's probably fun for your staff too, because they are getting to experiment more with blending than perhaps they would.
Yeah. And I think our staff is involved both in packaging it up and then ultimately at the blending sessions. We'll always have somebody from our winemaking team as leading it, at least at this point in time. But that's our goal. We're setting it up so we have one let's just say like an open allocation sign up, one event a month. But if a family group wants to get 10 purchase 10 packages and bring 10 different groups, different families from across the country or right here in the state, we'll set up a separate one just for that. But we have one pre-booked or pre-designated for each month, and then we'll expand on that as we get more people. And we really anticipate there'll be a lot of corporate involvement here, especially with everybody still at home with COVID. And corporations are loving this as a team building kind of thing. We anticipate we'll be doing a lot of. We had a staff meeting this morning, and we made sure that myself and the rest of the winemaking team was committed to being available to do, because I think we're going to be doing a lot of these. So yeah, it's really fun. You saw the photograph, but everybody gets 375 milliliters, 3 different bottles, and which is basically a bottle and a half of wine in and of itself. And then they get a finished bottle of one of our wines, again, which are made up with the same varieties. And we're just going to have fun. And blending is kind of fun. So why not share it with everybody else and let them be winemaker for the day?
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the pipette that you're sending, is that a glass pipette?
It is a glass pipette. This is the same as we use many different. This is a 5 milliliter one. We use many other sizes in the winery, but we wanted them to feel. We want everybody to participate to feel like they are actually, blending, and actually, so we can break it down. Everybody's going to get a 250 milliliter beaker, so we can measure out 50 milliliters. But if our blend turns out to be 55 milliliters, we'll do 50 and 5, and we'll get it. We'll get it down. We're going to show them just like we would do it ourselves in the wine team when we put blends together. So we wanted everybody to have. We wanted everybody to have all the pieces, and whether they keep it when they're done or not. I don't know what else you would do with a 5 milliliter pipette, but at least for that day and that 90 plus minutes, you're going to feel like a winemaker.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And so you're mentioning the whole corporate thing, and I know that's been, I think, the most popular out the gate audience for you, right? Did I hear correctly? You did 300 some orders already of that, or was that?
We did that's our virtual tasting packs that we've done. 300. We did 300 this last. We shipped out 300 on Monday, virtual tastings, which include 300 people this week. They could be big corporate groups or small family groups. But on our virtual tasting side, we try to keep them as groups of like the people that know each other, either families or corporate groups. And some of the corporate ones are large, and it's more of a, like a webinar style. And some of them are where we have 4 or 5 or 6 participating groups in various homes across the country, and it's more intimate in that way. But we do both of those. On the virtual blending, we're going to limit it to 10 packs or 10 participating groups. Our vision is that this will be for like a couple, so 1 pack, a husband and wife, or a brother and sister or whatever can participate with us. And then, so really doesn't matter to us if it's 1, 2, or 5 people sharing a pack, but realistically, based on the amount of wine, we're thinking that it's a 2-person team, so to speak. But we're limiting it to 10 so we can keep it kind of intimate, so people can they can ask questions of the winemaker, so that we can really get involved with helping them put the best blend together. And we'll review each of the various wines. So the current kit is Syrah, Mourvedre, or Grenache. We'll break down each one of the wines. What would you expect from a Syrah? What would you expect from Grenache? What do you expect from Mourvedre? What are you going to taste, smell, experience? And then this is what we might think you would expect if you put them together in this combination. So we'll start with 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Same thing I do when I blend wines. And then I say, well, which one's really standing out? And we'll start breaking it down. So that's why we did it. We're setting it up for at least 90 minutes, so we really can have a lot of good fun time with people and try a lot of different trial blends.
Yeah,
It's awesome. And Carl, you've had luck shipping? Haven't had any issues or?
Oh well, shipping and packaging is always a challenge.
Fun.
Figuring out how to ship a little fragile glass pipette. So we actually have a plastic tube that we wrap it in tissue, it goes in the plastic tube. The plastic tube fits perfectly in the box, and so far no breakage. Yeah, so a thick plastic tube. So and you can see in the photograph, not here, but all the bottles are sealed. They're all tape sealed, so there's no leakage. Plus, we don't want any oxidation. And that's somewhat to a degree our tamper evident exposure there. And then, like I said, everybody will get an empty one that we can at the end build their own. And I'm hoping that everybody does something different. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. We're really excited about it. We really think it's going to take off. It's a commitment. We charge for it, but it's really we think something fun people can do as a couple, as a family, along with others. So the once a month, the open date, the first 10 packs we sell, we'll close it. If we have more interest, we'll open another one. But in that particular one, it could be different different groups from all over the country. But if any one family or any one group wants to put their own together, we'll schedule a separate event for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's great. Corporate groups. Now, Jessica, that's kind of where you guys have found some successes in when it comes to this whole virtual tasting bit. Talk a little bit about that.
Right. So we started off we have not done any kits. So we started off doing virtual tastings with 4-pack 750 ml wine bundles. So those were, it was all about more of that private curated virtual tasting with a small group or a family or what have you. And we also did, like Carl mentioned, we've done some of the more broadcasted virtual events on different social media platforms. And then just organically, we started to get inquiries for team building, or do you offer corporate virtual tastings? And so after a couple of those, oh my gosh, there's huge potential here. So with these groups, oftentimes, because they're buying, what we've found with whether it's team building or a company using up their, maybe their client entertainment budget or what have you, it seems like we're getting on average maybe in that 10 to 15 participants per tasting, but oftentimes their budget is decent. So we're getting pretty good sales and commitments to full 750 milliliter bottles out of these. So yeah, so it's been great. We, early on we decided, okay, how can we generate more leads? So I'm lucky in that, Jaylar has an amazing marketing department. So we were able to work with marketing on some fun social media ads. We tried a LinkedIn ad, but apparently LinkedIn doesn't allow, I guess an ad can't link to, I don't know if it's only a website that sells alcohol or any type of shopping cart, but we had to remove that. So we've had success with the social media ads. We built a landing page on our website with just an easy, some form fields where a corporation can go in and submit an inquiry with some top level questions. So I think what I've found with all of this is, for these corporate inquiries, making it really easy, promote your virtual tastings, get it out there, have some sort of landing page or process where they can easily submit an inquiry. And then obviously you have to have somebody respond like ASAP and be very, professional and detailed with the back and forth communication. As we all know, there's a lot of competition out there. So really staying on top of it is important. And I think I've been building up kind of our toolkit. So we have the social media ads here that Chris is playing. You can't hear the volume, but you can see visually what we have going on. So we're really trying to, promote the fun team building aspect and the interactive aspect. And then the ads have worked well, not only for promoting the tastings, but also I have found several corporate inquiries who want a visual of what this looks like that they can take to their manager to get approval. So it's helped to have this, kind of in my toolkit that here's a video example. And we have our headshots and bios ready of our taste room hosts, because I found that has been helpful for corporate inquiries. And obviously keeping track of some testimonials. So this is an example of our web page with the form fields here. So it'll keep scrolling down. So yeah, I feel like we're just kind of at the cusp of this, and Carl touched on it as well, but there's just, people are craving to connect with one another, and management, they're looking for ways to build their team spirit and morale. And then of course, you really do have clients who have a decent client entertainment budget and they're looking for ways to spend it. So I think for all of us, there's just, if we can get in front of the right clients and get the idea out there, then there's just a large scalable volume there that we can sell of these virtual tastings and kits.
Jessica, don't you even think that, even though, so we're currently shut down for on-site tasting, I realize that you guys have not been doing that, but nonetheless, even when we returned, let's just hope that soon, but when we return to some form of normalcy, things are going to be different, and people are going to look at things different. So I am of the belief, and I wonder what you think, that things like these virtual presentations, these virtual participations in wine tasting or blending seminars are going to continue, because people can't always just travel to Paso Robles. We want them to, but they're not always going to be able to. So I think that this is just opening a new opportunity for us for the long term. Definitely.
No, I fully agree. And I think what's been really fun also in my experience thus far is that we've already found a couple of clients who have become these strong partners. You form this partnership, and then suddenly you do one virtual tasting really well with a group, and then suddenly that client is signing on for 5 or 10 additional events with different teams or different locations. So I think that's going to continue, and I agree. People are going to realize, okay, maybe we don't have, between the pandemic and budget concerns, we can't necessarily send people to wine country, but we can bring wine country to them and do it effectively, and people have a blast. So
I love the different layers and versions of the virtual experience that we have today, because there's, you know, just that kit that you get, that's the drive up type of real personalized service type of thing. There's this blending thing. Then there's, of course, this kind of larger scale, really taking it on and creating a lot of components to be able to capture, you know, that audience that really is craving it. I want to tell everybody, if you do go to our website and go to that At Home with Paso, you're going to see a lot of other opportunities. These are just 3 examples that I really wanted to bring to light today, because I just thought that they're all so incredibly unique and stretching the full gamut of what is really available out there. We do talk about wine on this show, and I do want to get to that part. I do want to start with Angela, because Angela, I was hoping that you would talk a little bit about one of the white wines that we have. And I have Innuendo and I have Viognier. And so I was hoping maybe you talk a little bit about Innuendo.
I would love to talk about Innuendo. Innuendo is probably my favorite. I'm going to put it in the glass right now. There it goes.
I did the same thing.
Squeeze it to the last drop, man.
So,
No, such an interesting blend. It's Chardonnay, Viognier, and Sauv Blanc.
right,
That's so Paso.
and not anything that anybody else would probably think of, except that, and I'm gonna I was a big fan of Conundrum, you know, and I for years, and I love my white blends, and they were a proprietary blend, and they would never tell you what was in it, but you could pretty much guess what was in it. So my whole idea with creating this blend was, okay, how can I combine these 3 wines to make it taste something unique, and that's something that just about everybody is going to enjoy and like, and it, because it is the 3 different wines that it's got Chardonnay and the Viognier and the Sauvignon Blanc, and people go, oh, Sauvignon Blanc, but I'm a big fan of Sauvignon Blanc, and so it gives it the right amount of crispness. And then a lot of people think Viognier is too floral, but then it just kind of cuts down that floral aspect of Viognier a little tiny bit. So it gives people really aren't big fans of any of the 3 wines, because you do have your Chardonnay haters, and they shouldn't be, but it just, I just, you know, anyway, but that's old. That was like 70s and 80s. But I just really enjoy it. It's really nice and light and crisp, and people go, oh my goodness, I like this. And then it prompts them to try the Viognier, or prompts them to try the Sauvignon Blanc, so, or the Chardonnay. And then we're pairing this with the Honey Chef. And we get our cheeses from Le Viognier, which is their parent company is Peacock Cheese Company. And so, this is a goat cheese. This is the one goat cheese. My husband goes, oh my God, that's not goat cheese. I'm like, it is, because he hates goat cheese, but it's a very delightful goat cheese if you've never tried the Honey Chef. And it goes perfect with the wine.
And it looks like good portion controls.
Yes.
People
And, yeah,
can't go too crazy with cheese.
No, it's perfect. It's a tasting. It's not a drinking.
Right.
So it's so awesome, this little kit. I'm looking forward to getting into the other wines in it and pairing them with these cheeses. I love how you have this put together. And so if there are any locals watching, because these don't ship right now, this is just call ahead to Angela at Mitchella Vineyard and Winery, because it's pretty neat how they put this together, and it's probably a kind of a fun little afternoon to get together with, you know, everybody under your roof and enjoy. So this is awesome. Thank you so much. And now you said you're the blend master there, and so when you wanted to blend these 3 wines, were you going for something? Was there a benchmarky type of thing? Because there's no real rule, of course, necessarily here in Paso of what you can and cannot blend. And these are very different varieties that you don't normally see together. What were you going for?
So I wanted a really nice floral note on the nose, and then I really wanted a really crisp mouthfeel. I wanted something that wasn't cloying, I guess that you could say. I really wanted that. I wanted floral notes, but I wanted them to be kind of subdued just a little bit, so that you've got like a hint of this, and that's why the Innuendo name. So you're getting like a hint of this and a hint of that. So you can't really put your finger on it, but you know that it's there. So that's my main goal when I blend this one. I mean, it's not always the same blend. in terms of proportions. So it's different every year.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Lineup of wines, how many SKUs do you have? Is it the only what's on your tasting list typically, or are we looking at a lot more than that?
We have 18 SKUs that we do. Just about every year. I mean, some years we might have one more or one less, depending on, like, we don't have a Petite Syrah this year because we didn't get Petite Syrah, so we won't have a Petite Syrah for 2020 vintage. And that's kind of the way that goes. But we change up our tasting sheet. We try and do it again every like 45, 60 days and move through the rotations so that we have Zinfandels that we do. Our big favorites, I like to have Bordeaux blends, which is our innuendo, which is on here. And then we also do other blends like Cheap Bastard. And that particular blend is named after my husband. And so basically after I've gone through and picked everything out, then I'm left over with these different things. It's like, okay, what am I going to do with it? And we have another blend called Rambunctious. And so basically I just separate them into the other blend. And then the Cheap Bastard, obviously named after my husband, because he thought he was going to save a ton of money by making wine. And I don't know that we really saved any money. We spent a lot of money, but I don't know if we saved any. So, but people love that wine. I mean, they can't wait for it to come out. And we were on the 2018 vintage of it, and we're almost sold out of it. And we just released it in March. So, and we're being shut down for 67 days. So we're able to move through it. So,
yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit about Azimuth. It's the GSM blend that you get when you order the blending kit. But Carl, this is kind of a flagship wine for you in a sense, right?
Yeah. Our Azimuth blend, so-called GSM, with the three varieties: Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. It really is the wine that I got in the wine business to make, and the reason we ended up in Paso Robles, because the Rhone varieties were doing so well here. So yeah, it is our flagship. It is the wine it along with our 100% Syrah are the wines we make the most of. We're probably most known for, but we do have followers for lots of others. I mean, we have folks that are talking about our Simpatico or Tempranillo based wine, but Azimuth is our key, and we really love to focus on the Rhone varieties out of our estate vineyard there in the Willow Creek district. So when we started to do this virtual blending thing, we thought, let's start with what we're known for, and let's get people blending up their version of either our Azimuth, or really the roots of this all go back to the Southern Rhone Valley and the Côte de Rhône and Châteauneuf-du-Pape style of blends, which is Azimuth is our play on that. And so this is the 2017 Azimuth. That's the current release. Mourvedre heavy, Mourvedre, Syrah, Grenache in that order. They change from year to year because we make what the vintage gives us in the blend. So it's usually either more Mourvedre or more Grenache driven, with Syrah the second or third player. And again, in the blending seminar, that's just kind of the things we talk about: is what do you expect from each of these varieties, and how do you put them together so that they dance and they really sing in your mouth. And that's what makes this kind of fun. Sharing this is, winemakers, we don't mind sharing, and we don't mind, quite frankly, Paso Robles winemakers are the most giving and sharing and with each other. And I thought, well, this would be really cool to be able to share this with more people, just what we take. I don't think anybody's going to walk away for having done our blending seminar and be a professional wine blender. It took me a number of years before I was confident in putting blends together, but they'll have a better perspective, and I think that's kind of cool. So that's why we're including a bottle of the Azimuth. That's what we're enjoying today, where we just feature that Mourvedre, that earthy characteristic that Mourvedre gets grown in our limestone soils of West Paso. Syrah, that beautiful blueberry, chalky, picks up that limestone. And then Grenache, which was that photo you were just showing, our Grenache vineyard, our Grenache block in the terraces, where we really get this bright fruit characteristic that raspberry, strawberry, those red fruit characteristics. And they just all really play. If you do it right, they really sing, they really play together in a glass. And so that's what I'm drinking with you today.
Awesome. And this is the 18, right? Is that right?
17 is our current vintage. Yeah.
17 is the current vintage.
18,
Okay.
the 18 azimuth will be a spring release. Our 18 wines will be released in 2021, which will be a fantastic year, I'm sure. Yeah, today all the 18s we split the releases up between spring and fall. So what we're doing in the tasting room when we reopen, hopefully soon, and what we're doing in our virtual tasting kits are all of our fall, mostly our fall release wines, so we can showcase them. You know, by the way, we're even doing the kits as take home or take away and taste on your own. Now that the tasting, we are unable to pour at the tasting room, so people can act, if they're still coming to town, I don't know where they would be staying. If they have a second house or something like that, they can certainly, just like with Angela, I'm sure, they can swing by, get a pack, take it to their hotel room, sit on their deck, go find a beautiful mountaintop, and just enjoy the wines. We unfortunately can't pour them for our guests, but they can still get them and share them and be with them, as well as if they are in you know, Idaho and can't make it, we can still get them to them. But we really adapted now so that people could just come pick up a kit, just like Angela's been doing for a long time, and enjoy them while they're visiting in Paso.
I noticed, by the way, your 18 azimuth today on Venice got a very nice score. So I know it's out.
Yeah, I was happy to see all those reviews, and I'm always happy with most every vintage. 17 was great, 18 was stellar, and so I'm looking forward to releasing the 18 wines.
Yeah.
And then Josh Reynolds had some nice things to say about our wines, and I was happy to see that released today.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Congratulations, Carl.
Interesting, something totally different, which is a wine from Jaylar that is single varietal, that is not Cabernet Sauvignon, but what is it?
Malbec, am I in the camera?
There you are.
So this is our 2018 Shotwell Vineyard Malbec. I don't know if that's showing properly on the screen. So yeah, so the inaugural vintage of this single varietal bottling of Malbec was the 2017 first release to our wine club. We had a very small amount left for tasting room sales after that. And then this 2018 vintage was just released in the fall to our wine club. So what's exciting being on the direct consumer side of Jaylar, there's a number of wines that people do not yet realize we produce, and some really small lot, you know, single vineyard, single varietal bottlings. This Malbec, I think we produced about 230 cases or so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so much fun to share these wines with people and educate them on these wines and show the other side of Jaylar. So yeah, I wanted to choose something that many people probably haven't seen before. And we also have this beautiful new packaging that we released with the 17 red. So it's just stunning wine. So yeah, so with Malbec, you can see, I mean, the color is super deep, beautiful color. But what I like is there's some real, like, the aromatics, and it's just a very beautiful wine, like some really elegant notes of, you know, some violet and even like a little bit of chocolate. And the tannins, you know, when you see a wine of this color, I think sometimes people can think it's going to be like too over the top or big. You know, visually it looks big, but it's soft, and the tannin structure is really not overwhelming. It's just, you know, one that's easy to drink, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that you're showing that too, because, you know, a lot of people think that large produce, I mean, Caliza is a tiny producer. We're more of a craft oriented producer. Jaylar is, you know, a large producer and does, I don't even know the number, but it's a large amount of wine, well known around the country, well known around the world. Mm-hmm. But you guys also do these little small lot stuff. I mean, I have a couple cherished bottles of Mourvedre that are single vineyard,
right,
from Jaylar that are unbelievable. I actually have them at, you know, when we do trials and we do, tastings of our wines, and we compare them. I like to compare them with other stellar wines.
Right.
And many, you guys blow the roof off of Cabernet, but it's nice that you're doing Malbec and some of these.
Yeah, it's really fun. So this particular wine is winery exclusive. You will not see it distributed, and our winemaking team has done an amazing job bringing more of those wines to the forefront for direct consumer purposes. So, I feel like I'm on this mission where I want everybody to know about all these winery exclusive wines and wine club exclusive wines, and they're a lot of fun to explore. And that's the winery exclusive wines are more of what we feature in our virtual wine bundles as well, to educate our customers and guests on those series that we have. So
I was just going to ask, so you're not doing your series that you do on like the same SKUs that you might see on the grocery store shelves.
Right.
Necessarily. You're doing stuff that's really all about some of these very unique wines, right?
Correct. Yeah, I think in our Explore Jaylar Cabernet Sauvignons comparative tasting, we do have the Seven Oaks Cabernet Sauvignon in there. However, and we have Hilltop, so you will see those. But we also have, for example, the Shotwell Vineyard that I have here with the Malbec. We produce a Cabernet Sauvignon from Shotwell Vineyard. So we also have some wines that these guests will not see at their local retailer. And then all the other virtual wine bundles are more solely direct consumer focused. So, and that's what we're trying to get out in front of the corporate client as well. And sometimes, you might have to adjust because of budgets, but it's really from a direct consumer standpoint, getting these wines in front of people is really important to us.
Yeah. I have friends and family around the US that sometimes they'll find a bottle of Lohr, whether it be like a Saint E or maybe a Master series somehow, however they come across it, and they'll be sending me pictures and stuff that says, this is Lohr, like the Seven Oaks Lohr.
The real Lohr, yeah.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of fun. We're lucky. We have so many huge fans across the nation who know our brand. And I think that's really helped also with the virtual platform, because they already love us, they're already engaged with the estates tier. And then now we get to, bring something else to the forefront and expose them to this other side of Jaylar. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'll say is that, over the years working with Jaylar, you guys are always first to fly that flag of Paso when you're out in market. I know when I've done things, I've traveled with Steve Lohr time and heard him speak, and always he's such a champion of Paso. And so as whether we use the idea of a large brand in good, bad, otherwise, never mind, because Jaylar is all about Paso. And so we really appreciate it. Oftentimes it's that little Seven Oaks that I think gets people interested in who Paso is, maybe for their first little dip into the waters of what wine is. So yeah, it's always good stuff.
Yeah. And the Lohr family has been great also about, they'll come join these virtual tastings or events, when they can. So we did one last night that Cynthia Lohr was on, and Jerry's hosted a couple on, I think, Facebook or YouTube Live, so they're very involved in all of this as well, which is awesome. Great.
That's great. And they're such genuine, honest, great people too, and always fun to have involved in things that we do. So thank you, everybody. We're running out of time. I want to give you guys all just a quick hot second though, to talk a little bit about if you've got something unique coming up that we haven't touched on, or you just want to tell everybody, how to get a hold of you and where to go and website and all that. Angela, I'd love to start with you.
Sure. The easiest way to contact us is Mitchella.com. Just go to our website and all the information is there on the front page. We keep everybody updated on what we're doing with COVID and everything. Or you can always give us a phone call. We're manning the phone. So 805-239-8555. So
awesome. Thanks. Thank you so much, Angela. And then someday when we can open again, you have to visit Angela's tasting room. It is one of the cutest tasting rooms in all of Paso. Neat view, beautiful backyard. It's her home. And she really makes, her and her team make you feel really welcome. And so when we open back up again, please look them up and have a visit, because it's a really fun, neat, genuine experience for Paso. So Carl, what you're down in San Diego right now, but you're coming back up. You've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got a lot of balls in the air. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I would just first, just like Angela said, I would welcome you to our website, CalizaWinery.com. Check out some of our experiences there, as well as some of our other wines, which we didn't talk about today. Do that. And then I just want to point out to you that this month's virtual blending seminar is going to be on New Year's Eve. So if this is something that you're interested in, check us out, give us a ring. I believe that you will shortly on the chat here, you'll see one of my associates is going to put up the link for it so you can book it. We really think it's going to sell out quickly. And then beyond that, if you have a larger group, if you want to bring family members and put your own separate virtual blending seminar or your virtual tasting with us together, we'd love to do it with you. We are having a blast visiting with people and getting connected with people, staying connected with people through these platforms. We are making the best of this situation and just going strong.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl. And what he meant by other brands or other wines, I mean, he has quite the lineup of wines. He also has another location. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but over in Tin City, there's another brand. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, end of the day wines, another line of wines that we produce as well. More your everyday drinkers that you don't feel if you feel uncomfortable cracking open a $60 bottle of wine, jump on over there and get a sub $30 bottle of wine, and both made by our team. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. No, yeah. It's not a secret. They're just two separate wines.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, thanks. And so, yeah, check that out too. And once again, once we're back open again, this is a 3-week shutdown right now. It's going to take us back through December 20, after Christmas. Okay. So post Christmas. And then after that, it's a 1-week review of where we're at in all of the conditions that are under the COVID guidelines. And so then we'll see if we can start welcoming people back again. And when we do, and when we can, we'll be probably letting you know through this medium and so many others, of course. Jessica, how do we your tasting?
So similar website, jaylar.com, hashtag share the Lohr is our great hashtag we have, super catchy. And we also have an at home at Jaylar page with different ideas of what you can do at home or how to connect with us virtually. We do have a wine tasting and popcorn Facebook Live event next Tuesday. So we're kind of playing on the whole Christmas popcorn tin and how to pair wines with that. So that'll be fun. But yeah, we have on our website, we now have a virtual, category and with different ways to connect with us. So it's easy to find.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So again, this whole show, by the way, is being recorded, will be available on our Facebook page for a little while until I think the next show comes along next week. And then it's on our YouTube channel, of course, as well, the Past Rebels Wine YouTube channel. Next week, we have another show before we go on break for Christmas. We're going to be going over some dessert wines. We're calling it Sweet Wine O' Mine. And we're going to visit with 3 different producers doing sweet wines in 3 different ways. And so that ought to be fun and perfect and apropos to having Christmas where everything is all about the sweets and gaining weight, right? So cheers, everyone. Thank you again for being on with me and hanging out. We will see you next time. Thank you, everybody, for watching as well. But we'll see you next week, 1 week from today. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks,
Sure.
Chris. Bye, Carl. Bye, Angela.
Bye, you guys. Have a good one.
See ya.